St. Louis Blues hockey is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. In, up, fix, out, Dobbs does it all. Get great offers on 2015 Chevy models. Find new roads at your Mid-America Chevrolet dealer. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And great to be back in St. Louis. The start of a 7-game homestand tonight. It's the St. Louis Blues and San Jose Sharks. Tonight's Dobbs starting goaltenders Brian Elliott, coming off his 18th shutout as a Blue, is back in goal tonight for Ken Hitchcock's Blues. He'll be opposed by the Finn Antti Niemi. He won his last start in Winnipeg, 3-2, stopping 17 of 19 shots. And great to be home as the Blues will begin things with Shattenkirk and Gunnarsson on defense. Up front it will be Berglund, Stastny, and Yashkin against the Marleau line. Patrick Marleau between Barclay Goodrow and Tommy Wingels, with Braun and Dillon on defense. Blues hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And underway here at Scott Trade. Great crowd on hand as the Sharks dump it in. Elliott puts it on the glass. Cut off by Wingels. Now Gunnarsson with it. Slides it up the middle. And this goes all the way down. And now Niemi out, so no icing here. And the puck around the boards now for the rookie Goodrow. And then for Wingels. And he goes wide on Gunnarsson. And then Marleau runs into the referee. The men in stripes tonight, by the way, Graham Skilleter and Eric Furlat. And the puck trickles to center ice. And now Braun drops it off for Brendan Dillon, acquired this year from Dallas. Pass to center, tipped into the zone. And now snared by Pietrangelo. And then Oshie will flick one in behind the goal. And Niemi, who doesn't handle the puck particularly well, gets it up the near side. And now it's jabbed to center ice by Carlson. Here is Bouwmeester. And right back in the zone it goes. Tipped by a Shark player. And then worked to center ice by Pavelski. And the Blues get it back again. Another timid start for both clubs. Now Schwartz coming in on his off wing. He goes wide on Vlasic. Now Schwartz deals it back to Butler. Back in, feed to Tarasenko. Off the wall, a shot and a glove save by Niemi. And we get a whistle.
Good little shot there from Tarasenko. In the meantime, Ken Hitchcock talking an awful lot about this line with Berglund, Stastny, and Yashkin. They're really starting to catch fire and get that chemistry. And one thing that he talked about was finishing their checks, playing physically. That's some big bodies along the wing, and I think Dmitry Yashkin's figuring out the role that he has to play at the NHL level, feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident.
The Blues had a season-high 32 hits in their victory in Arizona, and Yashkin led the way with 6. Here's Tarasenko, pass in front, intended for Laterra. Now back of the goal again for number 91. Tarasenko trying to get away from Irwin, in front to Laterra, and he fans on the shot, and it's picked up by Goodrow, and he gets to center ice for the Sharks. Their last game was 2 nights ago, a 4-3 overtime win in Minnesota. So since getting pounded by the Blues, they win in Winnipeg and win in Minnesota. Now stolen at center by Tarasenko. And he breaks in. Now to the forehand. And he can't get a shot through. And a good job defensively by Tennyson. And it comes to center. Here's Shattenkirk walking it right back in. And a bouncer. And that's blockered away by Niemi.
That's an area that the Blues have to really expose, is driving pucks down low on Niemi and driving hard for the rebound.
And now Lapierre. He twists and turns back of the goal on Tennyson. It is Lapierre, Reeves, and Ott for the Blues. And then Reeves kicks one to himself. And then on the cycle, back to the far side. And now McGinn comes back for the Sharks to pick it up. Here's Big John Scott. He did not play against the Blues last Saturday, serving a suspension. Now it's Reeves right in front. A shot, pad save Niemi. And the rebound is picked up by the Sharks. But Scott is mauled there by Reeves.
Big hit by Ryan Reeves.
And now Scott again. And trying to go away from the forechecking, it is Irwin, and he finally gets the puck high to center and down the ice, and that will be an icing call. And now the Sharks, with a tired group, can't make a change.
Yeah, good, quick line changes for the Blues, often coming off the road. That's one of the big keys, is to keep that energy going from line to line. And already, not even 3.5 minutes into this hockey game, all 4 lines have been on the ice. Good hit right there by Ryan Reeves on Matt Irwin. Tarasenko, in the meantime, has had a couple of real explosive chances. That's good news as well.
The Blues have gone 8-1-1 in their last 10 at home. Overall, 13-4-1. The Sharks have won 3 straight on the road. And overall, 12-8-3 away from SAP Center. Blues win the faceoff. Pietrangelo. Back of the cage for Oshie. Now McGinn is there for San Jose. Steen works him over. And now Irwin with it for Scott. Can't work it by Pietrangelo.
Good play by Pietrangelo, going up against the 4th line.
Now it's centered by Steen. Bounces in front. Steen gets it back, and his pass back to Bouwmeester. And the Blues have to regroup at center ice.
Well, you can sense that urgency there with the Blues, knowing that the 4th line of the Sharks had iced the puck. They had to stay on the ice.
Now Oshie a pass. And that hits a stick, comes to center ice. The healthy scratches tonight for the Blues, Joachim Lindstrom and Ian Cole. And as we mentioned, Joe Thornton will miss his 4th consecutive game with the shoulder injury.
And Chris Porter still out with that high ankle sprain.
Now it is Nieto in for the Sharks. To the line, Dillon a drive, and that goes wide. On a shot from that point. And then it is Hertl back of the goal. Butler forces him off the puck. And then launched to center. Yashkin in a foot race. He nudges Dillon. And now Yashkin down low to Stastny. Nice play to Berglund. Now Berglund again to Stastny. Back for Barrett Jackman. And then Yashkin trying to work it out of the corner. Jackman on the line, a shot. Tipped on goal by Berglund and a save by Niemi. And then thrown back to the cage again. Berglund gets away from his check. A shot. And that's up high. Hits the glass. Then it goes out of play.
Another good shift there by that line led by Patrick Berglund. As we take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. And obviously the Blues are a much better team when they have that neutral zone pursuit of the puck. That helps up the D, hold the line, especially against a quick team like San Jose, and own the ice in the middle of the ice. You got Backes, Laterra, Stastny, Lapierre. With Thornton out of the ice, they've got Pavelski, Marleau, Shepard, and Desjardins. Big advantage there for the Blues.
And now it is Tarasenko. Broken up by Vlasic, and the puck to center ice. Hitchcock told us before the game he felt that goal late in the second period the other night by Shattenkirk on that great feed from Schwartz was the real backbreaker in that 7-2 win. But until then, it was a tight game. And now Pavelski in his own line. And that's flipped in by the Swede, Melker Karlsson, who has scored goals in 3 straight. And now the Blues in their own zone. Tarasenko, rink-wide feed for Schwartz. And he winds and fires. That was off a stick. It hit the blade of Burns' stick and goes out of play.
Yeah, just a slight delay there from Schwartz. Allows the defenseman to get in there. And here's Dmitry Yashkin humming down the left side. Takes the hit right there by Dillon. Puck moves down low. And you see Berglund and Stastny really have something going as well. Obviously, Berglund a natural centerman, but he's feeling much more comfortable on the wing. Nice play by Yashkin to punt that back to the point position, working it down low and moving it back to the points. It creates a lot of havoc for the defensive team.
And Yashkin now with 6 points in his last 9 games since getting recalled. And Darren, it looks like he's finding a nice home on this Stastny line. And the Sharks tip one to the corner. Wing goes after it. And now for Goodrow. And he is roughed up by Gunnarsson. Move it, man, move it! Blues have hit the first 4 shots of the game. Now Dillon at the line. And a little soft backhander. That was probably going wide. It's covered by Elliott. And no further play.
Easy play there for Brian Elliott, who continues his fine play. 27 career shutouts now. And you take a look at the coverage down low. 5-man unit. All Dillon has right there with pressure from Steen is a little backhand hoister. The center iceman, Patrick Marleau, was really staying in a defensive posture. 3rd man very, very high, respecting the offense there from the Steen, Backes, and Oshie line.
At home this year, Elliott 5-2 with a minuscule 1.58 goals against.
That's very tiny, isn't it?
Very minuscule.
mini-me-ish.
Yes, sort of like you. Now it's Reeves to center ice. And that goes to the end wall. Lapierre comes in. And the Blues get the puck free. Lapierre trying to move it back to the goal. He does. Lapierre. And the wraparound is turned away by Niemi. Now it's Ott there. Puts one in front. Broken up by Irwin. And on the boards, the Blues again. Good pressure on the puck. And now Ott goes after it back on the goal. A heavy forecheck by this Lapierre line. And now walk to center ice by McGinn. Stripped there by Berglund. And the Blues have possession.
And the job of the Ott Lapierre Reeves line, if they're going to go up against the Scott Desjardins and Hamilton line, get the puck down low, work it, and then they go for a change. Oh, that's going to be icing right there.
Well, get ready for an amazing second half to the season, and don't miss one shot saver goal. Stretch run packs go on sale in January with 2 great deals. The packs come in either a 7 or 17 game pack, and they set you up for great hockey, including games against Chicago and Tarasenko bobblehead night on March 12th. Again, they go on sale this month. Stay tuned for more details.
A lot of debate about that icing call there, John Kelly. Obviously, the referee, Graham Skillert, are talking to the Blues bench. The Blues bench clearly thought that the Blues got to the red line, which was Butler. And I thought so, too. With Jackman, excuse me.
Well, it doesn't matter. The Blues win the faceoff, get to center ice, and then ripped in by Jackman. And now Tomas Hertl out of the Czech Republic. He comes in for Nieto, a shot on goal. And there's the first San Jose shot of the night.
Well, here's what we're talking about on that little play. We'll get back to that when we continue on. Still no score early on in this game. A lot of conversation with the linesman right now. But Butler's pass, when you look at it, and the big difference here, we're looking at right at the stick blade right there. That's Berglund. The puck is flat to begin with, and then it does flutter somewhat after it hits the tip of the blade. Berglund's telling the linesman now on the bench that it did touch his blade, so it should have nullified the icing. Those are fine lines, and obviously these linesmen are as good as it gets out there.
Shots 4-1 for the Blues. No score as the Blues kick off their 7-game homestand. Played to center ice. Couture gets it back. And now for Brent Burns, who leads all defensemen with 11 goals this year. Had a winner against the Blues a few weeks ago. Picked off by Oshie on a giveaway, but he can't get to it in time for a shot. Now Bouwmeester a drive. That goes wide. Steen in front. Oshie shoots one. And a save there by Niemi as Oshie was set up right in the slot.
Niemi was falling and lost his balance to his left. Oshie actually fired it there, looking for the high glove maybe, or it was wobbling a little bit. And Niemi, since 10-11, 148, wins. He's a guy that bounces back from adversity. There's the pickoff on a poor decision defensively by the Sharks. Good play by Bouwmeester behind the net. Keep your eye on the slot. And there you see the goaltender was way out of position right there, and it just hits him right in the chest protector.
The Oshie sort of missed the shot, Darren.
It definitely was wobbling on him, no question.
Now Tarasenko to Shattenkirk. He comes in, backdoor feed, and a wide open net for Schwartz, and that goes wide. And that puck may have been rolling on Jaden Schwartz.
And Dylan was sprawling all over the place there.
What a setup by Shattenkirk. And now Tommy Wingels. Cross corner dump it. Shattenkirk back to get it. And now on to the right wing side for Schwartz. Lost it, picked up by Laterra. And his pass back was intercepted by Goodrow. And the Sharks play dump and chase. Here are the Blues defensively. Tarasenko. Good move in his own line. Off the corner to Yashkin in a goal. And his stick was lifted by Irwin. And now Hertl to center, but there's Yashkin ripping right back in. And now Niemi sets it up for Irwin. Pressured heavily there by Berglund. And Berglund gets it free for the Blues. He scampers back of the goal against Tennyson. Now Yashkin trying to pry it free. And then Berglund again on the forecheck. And back of the goal, Yashkin. He is slowed up by Shepard, knocked down. And both referees look the other way, and the puck taken by the Sharks. Then tic-tac-toe to center ice, down to Shepard. He comes in 2-on-2. And an easy save there for Elliott. And then Berglund on the boards. He is worked over by McGinn. Puck comes back. Long shot by Burns. And that was well wide. And then Desjardins a hit in the corner. He knocked Butler down. And then Jackman back to the goal. In a battle against two Sharks. And then Berglund back to help out. And a penalty coming up. I think it's going to go against John Scott. Did he slash Jackman? Something happened involving that guy, John Scott.
Well, his stick is about 19 feet long. And the big fella there got his stick up the Blues bench yelled right away. So I'm looking down to my right.
20, 2 minutes high sticking.
So it is a high sticking call on Big John Scott. You see Jackman right there is going to his right. Berglund's going to the left. Oh, right on top of the noggin. I guess so. Clunk.
That will wake you up.
That's why you wear a good lid.
So the Blues get a power play. They're red hot, 6 for their last 14. Number 1 in the league. Steen across. Shattenkirk a drive. And a blocker saved by Niemi.
That was labeled.
Backus, Oshie, and Stastny. Back to Steen on the line. He comes in, a shot. Pass, saved Niemi. And the rebound is picked up by the Blues. Now Backus for Shattenkirk. Quickly back to Steen. Shattenkirk to Steen across the ice. And too hot to handle there for David Backus.
Yeah, it would have been fine. It just took one hot skip on the second one. Boy, they're zipping that puck around. Tough to defend when the puck's going east to west that quickly.
Blues 2 for 4 in 2 games against San Jose. They enter the zone. Tarasenko now for Shattenkirk. And he delays a little bit. Tarasenko again. Shattenkirk to a wide open Steen. Winds and fires it. And that was just wide. Shattenkirk a shot. Tipped by Laterra. And recovered by Brendan Dillon. Now to center, look out, 2-on-1, Couture and Wingles. Here they come, and a pad save by Elliott made that look easy.
Did he ever? Dragged the right leg perfectly.
4-on-2 the other way, Schwartz in front to Steen. Chance, he scores! Steen, another beauty, and a power play goal.
This power play continues to hunt. But it all starts with a big shorthanded play by the Sharks that stopped with the right pad by Brian Elliott. Elliott makes this great save right here. Right pad made it look easy. And down go the Blues led by Tarasenko. Quick passes here. Schwartz, dot to dot, and back to the lead. Oncoming, Alexander Steen. Laterra driving hard to the net. And Steen on the off wing there just lets it rip underneath the glove and over the pad of Antti Niemi.
His 11th goal of the year, and the power play just humming along, and Todd McClellan knows his club cannot take penalties tonight. As the Blues burn him for a power play goal at 10:38. Now Jackman a pass. Hits a stick, comes down. That's kept in. Long drive by Irwin goes high over the Blues goal. And now back on the line, Tennyson for Irwin again. That drive hit a body in front, maybe off Shepard, number 15. And now it comes around. Yashkin, a good reverse hit there. And the Sharks hold it in. Steen gets the goal from Tarasenko and Schwartz at 10:38. Now a drive by Stastny and a good shot. And a right pad save by Niemi in the middle of a line change. It's played back to Pietrangelo. He wanders in. And that shot is blocked. Sharks tip it ahead. Kept in Bouwmeester. Off a skate in front, recovered by Pietrangelo. And his slap shot. And that was right into the shin pads of Irwin. And Matt Irwin to center ice. And now for Goodrow. Back of the goal. Pietrangelo, quick pass ahead to Backus. And just like that, the Blues to center ice. And lobbed in deep by Ott. Played around by Niemi. And now Burns will slow it down for the Sharks. Marleau at the bench had to go off his skate. The Blues get it back.
Yeah, Burns is trying to make that pass where there was no outlet for him. They're going for a line change.
And that is an offside. So the Blues power play, number 1 in the league at 25.7%. And those numbers are going up.
into Scott Trade Center. This is the view from the great seats here downtown St. Louis. We go back to the power play goal, but it does all start with a phenomenal pass right here up the middle for the San Jose Sharks. Now, this is a 2-on-1 break. Shattenkirk plays it beautifully. Leave the goalie, have the shot. Now we stop it again for a second. This is Tarasenko. He's going to see that puck again. So he starts it off with a pass across to Schwartz. He's going to get it back again, dot to dot, and a quick pass. It's not on his stick for a split second, and Alexander Steen follows it up and just lets that one rip. A perfect spot, about 13, 14 inches off the ice.
Steen now with points in 5 straight. 3 goals and 7 assists in those 5, but that was a brilliant passing play that led to the power play goal.
You look at the power play before that, and you know, Steen, Shattenkirk have such great chemistry, but they pass the puck like men. I mean, there's no fluttery or no little heel-to-toe soft saucer passes. I mean, they snap that puck around.
Blues win the face-off. Bouwmeester a shot. That goes wide. And now Laterra on the boards. Gets some support there, but Pavelski gets it back for San Jose. And to center ice now for Carlson. Good buddies of Lindstrom, a shot. And a glove save by Elliott. The Sharks crash the net, but the Blues hold it.
Well, you take that any day of the week. A backhander from a severe angle. If that's all you're giving up, you're in very, very good shape. 5 men back for the St. Louis Blues. That is the key there. Look at them in their position. It's perfect. They've got everything covered, and now all they've got is a kind of a little backhander that they're likely trying to fire it off the pad for a rebound, but even if that happens, the Blues are in a very, very good position.
And after a face-off win, the Blues to center ice. Steen. And he was checked there. Carlson gets it and puts it over the glass, and we get a whistle with 7:20 left here in the opening period.
Well, I mentioned the Steen line the last 4 games. Now we're not even a period into the 5th game, so that's 12 goals total. Mind you, this one on the power play, so not all even strength goals, but the point streaks continue for the Blues.
And Jaden Schwartz with an assist now with points in his last 6 games. And of course, he missed some time, so he doesn't have a consecutive game streak as far as the league is concerned. But
well, last 5 for Steen. Now he's got 3, 7, 10 points.
Now the Blues at the line. Here's Oshie. He'll wrist one in behind the Shark goal. Number 44 is Marc-Edouard Vlasic. He scored the game winner in their last 2 games. One late in Winnipeg, the other one in overtime.
Oh, that puck hit the linesman. He looked at the player, and he said, that one's on me. Marleau was trying to feed it up towards Goodrow, and it hit the linesman.
And then Lapierre near the goal almost tipped that in. The puck to center. And now John Scott into the corner against Ryan Reeves. A couple of heavyweights in this league. And the Blues take over, and back they come. Here's Butler down the wing for Lapierre. And he pulls up, trying to roll off the check from Irwin. And then Tennyson up the board.
Oh, good hit again by Reeves on the forecheck.
And a pass off a stick comes to center ice. And then John Scott is wrapped up by Jackman. Elliott brushes one ahead for Yashkin. And then for Lapierre to the Shark line. Shots 9-5 for the Blues. The only goal by Steen on the power play. Now Irwin to center ice. That is dumped in by Nieto. Former teammate of Kevin Shattenkirk at BU. With it, can't clear it though. And now Nieto gets it in front to Shepard, a shot. And a pad save there by Elliott. And the Blues clear the rebound off the boards down the ice. And that will be an icing call. Fox Sports Midwest welcomes the Steinberg Winter Classic, a 3-on-3 outdoor hockey tournament for the Cancer Care Foundation. Teams play at Steinberg Rink from February 27th through March 1st. Register your team now at SteinbergWinterClassic.com. It's always a great event for a great cause.
Oh, that's for sure. Joe Fresta Jr. has done a phenomenal job for cancer research. He's a 2-time testicular cancer survivor himself, and it's an outstanding event.
Now Dillon for the Sharks or Justin Braun. And then Couture can't enter the blue zone. Bouwmeester gets it back now for Pietrangelo. And he'll play it back to his partner. Up the middle at the line. And then dumped in deep by Laterra. For Tarasenko. On the cycle again to Laterra. Drops it off. Tarasenko. Back to Bouwmeester. Wrist shot. He scores! Bouwmeester! And it's 2-0.
Now that's well executed there. Well executed for sure. Jaden Schwartz gets in front of the net. We talk about net front presence all the time. We talk about big David Backes. You talk about Laterra. Here's Schwartz in front of the net, timing this beautifully. The shot by Bouwmeester just gets beyond the forward, and then in the net, top shelf, Logan Couture in front of the net as well. Bouwmeester will get credit for his second goal.
And first goal in 22 games. Another goal came in New York against the Rangers on November 3rd. But again, Darren, some great passing led to that shot by Bouwmeester.
Well, crisp passing for sure. Tarasenko snapping that puck around, and you know, we always look at the end result, but before that, the reason why Bouwmeester was able to get the puck at the left point was because of the good pass from the right side.
And he scores at 15:06 to make it 2-0. Well, Shattenkirk at his own line, and that goes over the stick of Carl Gunnarsson. And the Blues back deep in their own zone. Tarasenko and Laterra get the assist on the goal. And now we get the whistle.
Well, you talk about making plays in small spaces. This is where Laterra and Tarasenko do so on this cycle. Tarasenko's got the puck on the drop pass to Laterra. Now he's going to get to the open, gets a drop pass from Laterra again, and snaps that puck across, going all the way the width of the ice. A perfect pass before the forward can get to Bouwmeester, and that allows Bouwmeester a little time.
So Tarasenko with 2 assists. Draw one by the Sharks. Here's Tennyson. That shot, pad save Elliott. And it comes in front. And it's Oshie, but he can't get it out. And now Goodrow with it a drive. That was blocked by Shattenkirk. And it ends up in the corner. Here's Backes trying to clear one. And the puck does come to center ice.
And you notice that Steen's not on the ice here for this shift there with Oshie and Backes. He just left the bench. Looks like he's got a little bit of a skate issue. Bert Golden, the fine trainer of the Blues, was working on his edges earlier, but he just came to the bench and said he's got to get that skate resharpened.
Darren, already tonight, the Sharks have turned it over in their own zone 6 times. And Tarasenko takes a high stick, a penalty called here. He takes a shot, and he checks for blood, and the Blues will go on the power play for at least 2 minutes. And they lead by 2 late in the first.
Well, 4 goals in Arizona on only 6 shots on goal. You talk about efficiency. His 4 goals were a total of 4 minutes and 44 seconds of his own ice time. That's remarkable. What a pass to end it there by Alexander Steen. And that leads us to this right here. Our dirt cheap snapshot of the game. Guy's got those muddy work boots on right there and the 4 biscuits in his hand. So his second 4-goal game. He also did it in 2009 at Detroit. He had 9 shots in that game. In the meantime, Tarasenko cut between the nose and the corner of his left eye. Ray Burley working on that during the commercial break. That's why it's a double minor for high sticking.
So the Blues 1 for 1. And a 4-minute power play. Tarasenko back to Shattenkirk. And now across for Pietrangelo. That's blocked by Wingles. And a good job by Wingles to knock it down the ice. Here's Shattenkirk again at the Blues line.
Oh, what a slick little move that was.
Was it ever? Tarasenko takes the hit. Pietrangelo takes the puck and wraps it around the boards. Laterra lets it go. And then Shattenkirk's pass down low, picked off. And then played to center ice. And back in offside. Darren.
Well, Kevin Shattenkirk's off to an all-star caliber season for sure. Oops, thanks for coming. And Logan Couture, he just gave him the old 9 of hearts right there with that slick little move. And John, you got to hear the guys on the bench when that happens. This is what it sounded like. Ooh.
Oohs and ahs.
That's when you know they're confident and having fun, isn't it?
And a pass by Steen goes all the way down. Here, and I was going to say that Backus with those 4 goals, now 172 goals as a Blue. That ties Red Berenson for 7th all-time. And you know, for a while there, Darren, I thought you might tie Berenson's record for goals in a game.
Yeah, 6 at Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. When things magically go that way, you're so efficient with every shot you fire. But it was something the morning of that TJ Oshie said, well, there's another guy on our line that's he's going to get going. And he predicted that Backus was going to have a big night.
Now 3:15 left in the Blues power play. Shattenkirk dumps it in. Here's Braun. That pass is picked off by Oshie. And now the Blues settle it down on the power play. Back to Shattenkirk, but it rolls on him. And smacked down the ice by Patrick Marleau. 2.5 to play here in the first period. Blues goals from Steen and Bouwmeester. Here's Steen to center ice. In for Stastny. To the net for Oshie. Can't get it around Vlasic. And now Goodrow on the puck for San Jose. Barclay Goodrow tracked down by Backus. Now for Vlasic in the slot. Checked by Pietrangelo. And the Blues quickly back to center ice. At the line. Backus trying to run through a Shark, but a good job defensively there by Goodrow. And again, it goes down the ice. So far, the Blues no shots on this double minor. And then Pietrangelo up the wing for Laterra. He steams into the zone. Great pass to Tarasenko. Shoots one, and he ripped that one high off the glass.
Good job by Wingels going down there. Took a lot of that time and space from Tarasenko.
And now the Sharks to center ice. Couture. He comes in shorthanded. Wingels to the net. And a shot. He scores! Couture! A shorthanded goal.
Second opportunity while shorthanded for Logan Couture, and he makes the Blues pay on this one. Blues had everybody back in numbers. It looked like Couture was waiting and waiting and waiting for Wingels to get back into the play. And it was Wingels that went down on the Tarasenko play on the original entry into the zone here. Wingels goes down in a pretty good spot, forces Tarasenko to go wide, and then you see Couture waits and waits, and Pietrangelo took away the low part. And this goes through the arm as goaltender Brian Elliott is a little bit deep in that net. It's not a hard shot. It just was right at the right area between the arm and the side of his body.
His first in 4 games, 15th of the year. Shorthanded goal. That is their third and the second against the Blues. Oshie to the corner. And now Stastny for Steen. A shot and a pass save by Niemi. As the power play continues. 1:35 left to Pavelski's double minor. Now Backus gets it back for Steen. With a minute to go in the period.
1 minute to play.
Played on to Shattenkirk. And now across to Stastny. Oshie gets it to Stastny. Shoots. He scores! What a shot by Stastny!
Well, that's the way to get it back. The power play on the double minor began a little lackadaisical. Not like the way that the power play had been snapping it around. So after they give up the shorthanded goal, they go right back to work. Nice pass by Shattenkirk over there to Stastny. Stastny with a little give and go. He and TJ Oshie. Oshie's been really moving the puck. Let the puck do the work. He gets Vlasic to commit. Backus is in front of the net. And a good quick shot there to the far side over the glove by Stastny.
And he extends his point streak to 4 games. His 9th of the year at 1906. Another power play goal. It's 3-1.
Well, there's no question the influence and hockey intelligence of Kirk Muller on that power play has really paid off. They've got a number of different looks. It's not the same thing all the time, and that makes it pretty difficult for the opposition to defend against.
So Couture, shorthanded goal from Dillon at 18:27. But less than a minute later, Stastny restores the Blues' 2-goal lead. And now 22 seconds left in the opening period.
Number 22,
Oshie and Shattenkirk get the assist on that last goal. And now the Blues to center ice. Stastny rolls it in. And Yashkin in on the forecheck with 5 to go in the period. And the Sharks out the left wing side. Goodrow to center ice. Dumped in by Pavelski, and that'll do it. And the end of one, it's Scott Trey. We have played one here in St. Louis, and the Blues lead the Sharks 3-1. Our guest in the broadcast booth is Brian Ramshaw. Now, the Blues had a contest to design Jake Allen's new mask, and there were 400 people that designed or submitted designs and 3 were finalists, and Ryan, yours was selected by the fans by a 40% margin. Congratulations. That must be a great honor for you.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Now, we're going to show some pictures of the mask and your design. What was the impetus behind your design?
Well, the main thing is I just put the eyes on there. Once I put the eyes on there, I just kind of designed the rest of the mask around it. I thought it would look really cool with the eyes, and, you know, all the goalie masks around the NHL are, you know, mainly a lot of busy stuff, but I don't really know whatever.
It's all right.
Sorry.
It's all right. But it must be cool to design a mask that he might wear in an NHL game, Ryan.
Yeah, it's very cool, and
It's okay. It's okay.
It's very cool. Actually, Ryan did a great job, and I actually was just looking at the mask that Jake actually has that on the bench. He's been wearing it more and more. As you know, the goaltenders takes a little bit longer for them to feel comfortable with a certain mask, even though it's just different paint. But for Jake Allen, he's got that one on the bench and looks like it's ready to get into play. So great work.
Thank you very much. And I'm happy to see him wearing it. I seen him wear it once in the Colorado game, so I'm looking forward to seeing him wear it more games.
Well, Ryan, congratulations. It's a great design, and you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
All right, Ryan Ramshaw, who designed Jake Allen's new goalie mask, our guest here in the broadcast booth.
And great job by Jake as well to get the fans involved as well. And he literally looked over when it got down to the last 3, he looked them over to get them to the 3, and then obviously the fans voted on it. So great interaction between social media, what the Blues do, Chris Pinkard and the boys right here with the St. Louis Blues, and obviously Jake Allen making sure that everything is rock solid.
Blues hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. Here come the Sharks, and a shot off the shoulder of Elliott. And the rebound goes. Where is it? It's in the net. The light is on.
I thought Brian had it in his glove.
And the Sharks have cut the lead to 3-2.
Another long stretch pass, though, and the San Jose Sharks pulling that off, catching the forwards and the defensemen in a little bit of between land right there. So as Ken Hitchcock likes to talk about 5-man units all over the ice, you can see that there's the entry into the zone. Now it's a 3-on-3. And this shot obviously is one that has everybody confused because Elliott thinks he's got it in his glove. Clearly by that overhead angle he doesn't. And that's why we couldn't see where the puck was. It ended up right on top of the net under the bar. So it never flopped anywhere. You couldn't see the puck over the goal lines because it was underneath the bar and in. That's 2 goals against Brian Elliott that he definitely wants back. I know it's a phrase we use a lot. You don't have to tell a goaltender that's been in that position before that those are goals that aren't the great variety. The one that went between his arm, the short-handed one, you know, it's one of those C&I pucks by Logan Couture, but the defenseman Pietrangelo had gone down. It only could leave something up high, and then that one right there, he just takes his eye off it for a split second.
And now the Blues attacking David Backes. This is a wide-open net. I mean, a wide-open net. And it was almost 4-2. And the Sharks play one to center.
Incredible push-off, getting down low, doing the splits by Antti Niemi.
And now the Blues to center ice. Oshie drops it off. Steen a shot. And that hit the stick, ends up on the near wing. And walked along by Carlson, who scored that last goal. So the young Swede Melker Carlson now with goals in 4 straight games. And 5 goals on the year. His goal is cut at the 3-2. Here's Irwin, a pass around for number 48, Paul Hurdle. As Couture and Burns get the assist on that goal. Short back of the goal, creating some havoc. Now the Sharks with it, can't clear it, and now they do, chopped away by Tennyson. And back into Blues ice. And here's a pass by Butler. And then Schwartz off a leg. And that's an offside as Laterra was trapped in there offside.
Well, great save. One end by Antti Niemi on the pass across. Oshie makes a great play over to David Backes. Backes just doesn't elevate. He thinks he's got it. And those are the strengths of Antti Niemi. He gets down low in his crouch, and he pushes off real well, covers the low part of the ice. As the Blues found off in the first period, Niemi also gets off his angle, and that's the reason why Stastny ended up scoring to the far side on that power play late.
And the Sharks slide it down the ice, and that's an icing call.
So you make that kind of save as the backhand pass, a perfect feed by Oshie. And it obviously goes off the heel of the stick of Backes, and this might have even glanced off the post on the near side. Yeah, it does. So obviously on my side between the benches, the opposite side that you're looking at the game, I thought that it went off his right toe. But then the play goes the other way, and how quickly this can change. The same way Elliott makes a shorthanded save in the first period that led to a power play goal going the other way.
So Carlson gets it from Couture and Burns at 32 seconds. And it's a 3-2 game. Blues won 65% of the draws in the first period. And now the Sharks control this with Desjardins ahead for Scott. And through his skates and down the ice. And Elliott sets it up in the corner for Jackman. And his pass off Reeves' stick. And then one-handed by Lapierre in deep. And Braun is back first. Stripped there by Lapierre. A centering pass intended for Ott. And Desjardins gets it to center ice and knocked off the boards by McGinn. Here's Butler. Ducks under the John Scott check. And Reeves with it for the Blues. And a good job by him to get the puck to center ice. 3-on-2. Now in for Ott. To Reeves. A drive and a pad save by Niemi. All off the rush there. And the Sharks float one to center ice.
Well, Reeves started that in his own zone. Slick little move with his hands, and then he pushed it up the ice.
Now Gunnarsson to the net, tipped by Yashkin wide, and then taken by Berglund. Now the Blues all the way to the back now for Gunnarsson. He'll drop it off. Yashkin almost lost it there. Does a 360 away from Desjardins. Now in front to Yashkin, and that shot was wide. What a play and a setup by Berglund. And now Kevin Shattenkirk to the corner. And Shattenkirk away from his buddy Nieto. And stops and starts. Out high for Stastny. He scored the Blues' third goal. Off the cycle, Yashkin, a drive and a blocker save by Niemi. And then thrown high to center ice. And Desjardins from outside the line. And a glove save by Elliott. Drops it off for Shattenkirk. And the puck to center ice. Wingle stolen from Yashkin. Pinballs around, now moved in by Irwin, a shot. And a pad save there by Brian Elliott.
Well, that last shift there by the Stastny line was a thing of beauty in terms of cycling, but before that, Ryan Reeves pushed the puck up the ice. You see how quickly they move it across, and they go to the far side with Lapierre going to the net. And on that one-timer, Reeves just misses. Good pass there. It's just in front a little bit, and Reeves can't totally adjust to it. A lot tougher for a big guy like that, long twig that he's got, and he just gets it a little bit off the heel.
And now it is Marleau on the face-off against Laterra.
Chip Johnson, in the meantime, the assistant coach for the Sharks, really having a conversation there with the referee at the boards. You know, John Kelly, the more and more that we end up watching this Berglund, Stastny, Yashkin line, I mean, the more impressive it has been. And the more it tells you that guys do need to play with one another for an extended period of time to get it going. They've stuck with this line, and now it's really paying off.
And now a shot to the wing, blocked by Bouwmeester. Here is Wingles. Back for Irwin, a drive up high, and off the glove of Elliott.
Having a hard time with that mitt right now.
Yeah,
he needs to catch one in the webbing to regain a little bit of that confidence.
Now it's centered and off a skate and right into the blue paint, covered by Elliott. Well, how does Blues hockey, free hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, and soda starting at $39 sound? The Blues introduce all-you-can-eat seats. A limited number are available for the following games. Visit stlouisblues.com for more details. And, of course, Edmonton coming up on the 13th.
Well, John, that doesn't mean you can eat the seat. You know that, huh?
I was aware of that, Mr. Peng. You can eat a lot of food in the seat, but not the seat. 3-on-2 here. Schwartz down the wing. Pass in front. Off Pietrangelo just wide. And now Schwartz again. Laterra to Bouwmeester, a drive up high. And a glove save by the Finnish goaltender.
Well, again, I think the example set by the Stastny line here just a couple of shifts ago got the old work boots going again for the St. Louis Blues. Get that puck down low, work it back to the points. That has been a pillar of strength for the Blues for the last couple of years. That was the defenseman, Alex Pietrangelo, that slid in there on the weak side. And you know when Pietrangelo's playing with confidence, he's jumping, moving his skates, and getting up there. A guy like Schwartz is going to find him every time.
And now Laterra against Pavelski. As the visitor must get his stick down first.
Yeah, but they're going to boot Laterra.
So Schwartz will take it. And Pavelski wins it. He is their best face-off man, over 55% on the year. Now the Sharks into the zone. Laterra on the back check. He rolls around. Now for Tarasenko. Moved ahead. And then into the zone for Jaden Schwartz. His pass to the corner for Pietrangelo. And he is chopped down. Tarasenko comes in to help out. Now for Schwartz. He looks around. A shot. That's off Carlson's stick high. And now recovered by the Blues. Tarasenko back for Pietrangelo. Can't get a shot through. Funnels one to the corner. Grabbed by Schwartz. Schwartz surveys the situation. And then for Tarasenko. Swatted by Vlasic, but kept in by Schwartz again. Now off the boards. Tarasenko fakes a pass. Now a shot. And a glove save by Niemi.
Good quick save there by Niemi. And again, you see the way Tarasenko's going to the far side on Niemi. Niemi has a tendency to just push off a little bit too much and cover the short side rather than being square in the long side, but there's a lot of traffic there. I mean, he had to battle through that. That's a heck of a save right there. Not sure if you could see that all the way, but Tarasenko, as you know, it's on his stick and off his stick as quick as any player in the National Hockey League.
2 assists tonight for number 91. Face-off is won by Shepard. There's Irwin a pass, and that trickles to center ice. Now Steen for Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson up the middle, Shattenkirk into Oshie into Claire, and a shot! And that was, I believe, wide of the goal as he worked in on right wing.
Remarkable job just to stay on side, though, taking that puck right in his skates.
And now Gunnarsson back for Shattenkirk. And at center ice, Backus drills it in. But there was another real good scoring chance off the rush. There's Stastny.
Oh, because it starts with transition. Good speed, good passing. I mean, you look at the top 4D. It started with Gunnarsson on the left side, getting that puck up the ice.
Now Shepard. 2 Blues around him. And it bounces back to Berglund. Now for Jackman. Deep slot. Butler. A shot and a blocker save by Niemi. And the puck floated high to center ice. 6 minutes gone here in the second. The Blues leading 3-2. Hurdle a pass. And that is gloved down by Butler. Braun, I believe, got a stick up high from Yashkin. And that will be called a high stick against Dmitry Yashkin.
Hey there,
Kessler joined the Missouri Army National Guard in October of 2012 after completing officer candidate school. He considers himself fortunate to be joining the 220th Engineer Company out of Festus, Missouri, who have recently returned home from a successful tour of duty in Afghanistan. Thank you, Lieutenant Brandon Kessler, for all you do to protect and serve our country.
What a great honor there for Brandon, and we thank Brandon and every one of the women and men in service to keep our country great and safe. Not safe out there on the ice, though, JK, because Yashkin caught him with a high stick right on the lip. Just a single minor.
And this is the Sharks' first power play tonight. And they have a good one at 20.7%, ranked 8th. The Blues have killed 16 of the last 17 against. Sharks win the faceoff. Here is Brent Burns. He's got that big shot on the point with 11 goals on the year. Now Marleau back of the goal. Pavelski trying to get it free. 2 Blues around him. Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo. And now Marleau on the backhand. Marleau feeds it back for the point man Irwin. One-timer by Burns, a drive, and that goes wide through a screen.
Hit a stick.
And now Irwin again to the corner. Ends up back of the goal. Here is Marleau, who hasn't scored in 13 games. Now back for Irwin, a shot. And that was going well wide, hit Bouwmeester. Now played by Backus, not out. Burns with it, a shot. And that goes wide right through the legs of Marleau.
He's trying to feed Marleau. He's got to shoot that puck.
And now Steen, a good stick there for the Blues. To the corner, Bouwmeester. Stripped there by Joe Pavelski. Back on the line, Burns. To Irwin, a shot. Pad save by Elliott. With a minute to go in the power play. And now Couture back of the goal. In front, a shot up high. And Pavelski is robbed there by Elliott, his former teammate in Wisconsin.
That was old school there. On one knee, kind of raises the left pad, gets a little bit of the arm on that as well. Good save by Elliott to bounce back.
And 40 seconds left in Yashkin's minor. Now the Sharks at their own line. They're 0 for 9 in 2 games against the Blues. That's turned over, and Lapierre short-handed try here. And he is tracked down by James Sheppard, and now Irwin comes in as Lapierre kills some time on this power play. And finally, pried free by Sheppard. Through center ice for Vlasic. And that goes all the way around on the dasher. Lapierre near the line. Carlson holds it in now to Wingels in front. Off a stick. Loose puck. And now taken by the Blues. And Shattenkirk throws it down the ice. Yashkin is back. And San Jose is 0 for 1. They had 2 shots. And a long pass to center ice. Tipped in by Desjardins. But that's called back on the offside.
Offside call there, and certainly the Sharks greatly missed the hands and the playmaking ability of big Joe Thornton. Obviously not in the lineup again with that upper body injury after a hit from Clayton Stoner against Anaheim. Here's a play by Pavelski. You see the positioning there? That's like Ken Dryden-esque, 1971. But you do whatever you can in those situations to make that kind of save. Sometimes it's not all perfectly technically sound.
And now the pass by Dillon. And Desjardins run to the ditch there by Jori Lehtera.
Yeah, Butler snapped his stick in half. And Tarasenko just giving him his twig.
And they're both left-handed shots. That's a good thing. Drop pass to Braun, a dry block. Tarasenko goes to the bench, gets a new stick. And here comes Schwartz. Into the zone to Lehtera. Great pass. Shoots. He scores! Jori Lehtera!
Well, that is teamwork all the way. Defensively, Lehtera gets the puck from Desjardins on the boards, wins that battle, pushes it ahead. Schwartz then battling as well. And now Schwartz gets up the ice, and what a backhand pass that is. And this is a goal that goes underneath Niemi. What, 3 inches off the ice? Oh, just over the pad and under the elbow. Excuse me. But before that, I mean, Butler breaks his stick. Tarasenko wisely gives it to him. Tarasenko comes back for a new twig, and the rush comes on this way.
Lehtera's first goal in 9 games, his 9th of the year. On a brilliant feed by Jaden Schwartz. And the Blues have their 2-goal lead for the 3rd time tonight.
Well, countering after a goal against so incredibly strong for the St. Louis Blues all season long. And you look at that backhand pass. I thought Schwartz was going to go to his right where Tarasenko was. Instead, he just snaps that one on his backhand to Lehtera. And you can see that in slow motion. He gets a lot on it and does go a lot higher than I thought it did originally.
Number 9 on the year for Lehtera. And it's 4-2.
Well, you talk to the coaching staff of the San Jose Sharks before the game. The one player they mentioned as a guy that they knew that the Blues missed was Jaden Schwartz. Boy, everybody around the league, they appreciate his diligent two-way work, but crafty hands too, huh?
That was a brilliant feed. A no-look backhander. Now it's covered by the goaltender Niemi. And we get a whistle.
That means every ticket holder wins a free Big Mac from McDonald's. Starting tomorrow.
So the goal by Lehtera from Schwartz at 8:52.
For a free Big Mac.
And now a face-off deep in the San Jose zone. It is Steen back as Oshie back on the ice. Steen had the first goal tonight. And this is dropped unfairly.
Well, the Blues work long and hard in this shooting room adjacent to the locker room. And that's Joakim Lindstrom before the game. You often see TJ Oshie firing up there as soon as he gets into the building. And you can see that hard work has really paid off for these players. He's got a great shooter in there. I've talked about that before. gives them every advantage they need before a game to get ready.
Maybe you should go in there and warm up the players.
The shooter's bigger than I am.
Here's Steen, feeds one to Bomeister. Here the Blues' second goal around the net. Now it's Oshie. Deep slot, Steen lets it fly, and that was off a leg in front and then fired wide by Pietrangelo. And now Backes lobs it back on the goal for Oshie. And he is slowed up a little bit, and the Sharks funnel the puck to center ice. Shots in this period, 8-7 for San Jose, but the Blues with a short 4-shot advantage for the game. And that's tipped by Reeves all the way down the ice. And Desjardins back. He is nudged by Lapierre. Reeves trying to find that puck in the forest of legs there. And now Steve Ott comes in. Here's Ott on the cycle again for Lapierre. This line for the Blues tonight has been real good. And for the most part, they've gone head-to-head against the Desjardins line. In the skates of Lapierre. Finally jammed away.
And a good third man high there for Ryan Reeves.
And Reeves and Scott battle there. Now Ott back on the line. Butler a little shovel shot. That's off Burns and wide.
Yeah, he had no time to release that because Desjardins was right there.
And then McGinn just turns and no play there, so he ices it.
No, they waved it off.
Well, they waved it off at the last second, and now the Blues after a line change to center ice. And that's tipped in deep. Laterra is after it against Burns. And Laterra strong on the puck. Gets it in front. Tarasenko wide open. And he's shot wide.
What a great play by Laterra. Separates the man from the puck and then feeds Tarasenko right in the slot. He has had a strong game.
Yeah, he's had a couple of assists, but I think he'd be the first to tell you should he have a couple of goals as well. And now it's Shattenkirk with 8 to play in the middle frame here. On to Gunnarsson. And he shoots it into off the stick there of Niemi, and that was a little bit tricky for Antti Niemi. The goal by Laterra at 8:52, and the Blues have that 2-goal lead again.
Keys to your hockey club is staying aggressive on the forecheck, staying on the hunt. You need more of that?
Well, we're doing a good job of it. We got to finish some of these chances we're getting, but the minute we're not, we let them out. They got a lot of speed up front. We got to hem them in as much as we can. We did a great job in the first period. Last 4 shifts have been excellent.
Thanks, Hitch.
Thanks.
Well, Hitch said before the game, their 5-on-5 game right now is the best it's been all year, and it's been real good again tonight. Blues win the face-off. On to Tarasenko, a little head fake move. And then he drifts back to the line. Tarasenko with it. 2 Sharks are there. Now back to Gunnarsson. Trying to step around Wingels. And then to the front, Gunnarsson is knocked down. And Dillon with it. He gets the puck to the line and then kicked back in offside by Tarasenko. FoxSportsMidwest.com is your home for Blues coverage all season long. Log on for game coverage, videos, features, and the latest analysis from Blues reporter Luke Thompson. It's all on FoxSportsMidwest.com.
Well, another thing Hitch had just mentioned prior to us going to air there was just winning more faceoffs. Continue to do that. And there's Pavelski winning the neutral zone faceoff there for the Sharks.
And now Pavelski at center ice. Check there. Backes on with Steen and Oshie. And this bobbles back in the area of Jay Bomeister. Blues goals from Bomeister, Steen, Stastny, and Laterra. Carlson and Couture have scored for the Sharks. Now the Blues to center into Steen. Drop pass. Couture steps in front of Oshie. And now the Sharks have numbers the other way. Walked in by Carlson. And his pass off the skate of Bomeister. And now Oshie back on the Blues goal. Can't move it along. Couture knocks it down. And now back for Pavelski. To Burns a drive and a pass saved by Elliott. And the rebound is taken care of by Pietrangelo. Gave it away, but Pavelski lost his stick.
Unbelievable.
And now the Blues to center ice. And Steen a drive. Rebound. Oshie shoots. He scores! TJ Oshie.
Three times in this game, there's been an occurrence at one end that dramatically changed, and TJ Oshie ends up being the recipient. Pietrangelo goes behind. He tries to play it in front. Pavelski actually reaches out, but it hits his stick and he drops it. The Blues are able to get it the other way with Backes supporting. Then the shot and a juicy rebound off the chest protector of Niemi. Burns can't defend against Oshie, who just rips that one home. We mentioned in that shooting gallery that the Blues have here, TJ Oshie will get in there early and he'll fire 100 pucks. There goes Niemi's night. I could tell by the reaction of head coach Todd McClellan, who's to our left, that the goal that was scored before that was one that he didn't like. A backbreaker as the Sharks got it to 3-2. You could just see the bench of San Jose. They needed that save, and they didn't get it from Niemi.
And now they go to Alex Stalock. The Blues continue to light the lamp, including tonight 18 goals in 3 games. Oshie gets it from Steen and Backes at 13:20.
Yeah, it was the Laterra goal to make it 4-2. An odd man break, though, and a lot of speed, but it's still one that's a very, very stoppable play if you're any goaltender at this level.
Stalock was in goal the other night in his hometown of Minnesota as he backstopped the Sharks to a 4-3 overtime victory. On the year 5-4-1 is Stalock, their 4th round pick in 2005. So for the first time tonight, the Blues have a 3-goal lead. It's 5-2. And now it is Jackman to Reeves at center ice. And that's turned over and then lobbed back in by Irwin.
Backes does a good job on that goal to just push the puck up the ice as quickly as he can. After that pass by Pietrangelo, ricochets off the stick of Pavelski.
And we've had some players miss wide open nets. Pavelski drops his stick there. Elliott's let in at least one oddball goal. I don't know if it's a full moon or not there, but it seems like it outside.
That's why there's always cause and effect in any sport, but I think it's particularly in the game of hockey at this level.
And now Carl Gunnarsson under some pressure back of the goal. Sharks get the puck free. Now back for Braun. A drive and a glove save. Rebound. Elliott got over and made a great right pad save on the wraparound attempt. That's his best stop tonight. And now the Sharks hurdle with it. And Tomas Hertl can't get a shot through. Now Braun does. Tipped on goal by Shepard. And it's covered by Elliott. As the Sharks come back with a flurry, and Elliott is razor sharp. Blues up by 3.
Well, Oshie ends up scoring the goal. Braun here from the point, shot through traffic, right off the tip of that glove. Obviously, there are some nights where you just have a hard time, seeing that come into your glove. You're off by just a split second or a small margin, and that's what's been happening tonight as Elliott, who's been a long-time battler in the NHL, he kind of continues to grind it out here.
And off the face-off, Marlowe with it. That goes out of play. With 5:20 left in the second period. Boy, the Sharks would really like to get Marlowe going. He is ice cold with 1 goal in his last 19 games.
Well, especially at a time when when Joe Thornton's not in the lineup, that's when you expect a veteran like Patrick to really step up his game, but that is not happening.
Well, Stastny back of the goal, intended for Berglund. And now played along to Marlowe, their 1st round pick in 97. And Dillon gets it back of the Blues goal. Here's Gunnarsson. And 2 Sharks around him. Stastny with it on to Gunnarsson. Down to center ice, tipped by Yashkin. Braun steps up. Now Yashkin with it into Gunnarsson. And then Shattenkirk down his off wing. Here's Shattenkirk. Looks around to Tarasenko. A drive, and that goes wide. Recovered by Schwartz. Now Schwartz on the cycle for Stastny. Deep slot, Schwartz. Everybody's covered.
That guy can stick handle on a phone booth, can he?
He is so sharp with the head up. And now the puck to the corner. Sharks get it back. And Logan Couture, the former Ottawa 67, to center ice. And now Couture again.
He's got to be a good player.
Out of Ottawa, of course. Now Schwartz will drop it off to Bouwmeester. And then Schwartz again. And a long shot goes wide of the goal. Ends up back of the cage. Schwartz can't center it. And now Laterra drifts in. And that pass picked off, and Carlson out of the zone. The last goal by Oshie from Steen and Backus. And what did Oshie tell us this morning, Darren? He had Oshio's for breakfast. No wonder he scored a goal tonight.
He did. Add a little fruit to that Oshio's that's on the stores here in St. Louis.
And now Desjardins, deep in his own zone. Nice pass to John Scott. And then McGinn at the line. Oshie gets back and strips him of the puck. And Oshie will lob one high into the corner. Steen goes after it against Burns, and Burns missed Steen, but they get the puck back. And off Jackman to center ice. That's drilled back in by Chris Butler. All the way around now to Steen. To an open side hurdle there. And he's checked off the puck by Oshie. Burns can't clear it. Here's Backus in front and a backhander. And that was blocked, I think, by Vlasic. And the Sharks away with Desjardins. 3-on-3. Now for Hurdle. And a shot up high. And a save by Elliott. And the rebound is taken care of by Ott. And fires it off the wall to center ice. And now Hurdle gets it again. Nieto was hit by Ott. He can't get in on the forecheck. And then Butler throws it on the dasher. In the area of Reeves, he goes back to the goal now for Jackman.
Well, you can probably hear on the mics there, a great location here between the benches, but the talking on the bench, the constant communication, especially coming from Pietrangelo to the defenseman, has been outstanding in this game. And they're going to call that an icing call right there, much to the chagrin of the Blues bench. And here we take a look here at TJ Oshie in the middle of the ice. It's a Mazda drive to the net. Backus makes the pass way up high. There's Steen. Now Steen gets in on a 2-on-2 basically, so let that puck go to the net. Oh, that is your classic shot, rebound, center lane drive, and Oshie makes the Sharks pay.
And Oshie now ties his career high with points in 7 consecutive games. With a goal and 1 assist. And the faceoff is won by Ott. And at the line, Tennyson can't hold it in. And this will be another icing call against the Blues. The homestand continues Saturday against Carolina. And then the Blues off until Tuesday when they host Edmonton. 7 games in a row. The Blues don't have a road game until the last day of the month in Carolina. So Darren, the Blues hoping to make some hay on this long homestand.
Yeah, Kirk Muller gets a chance to coach against his former team, the Carolina Hurricanes. He was there for nearly 3 seasons there in Carolina. Considering what they went through, he had a terrific record. They battled through it to get to 500 during his tenure.
And now it is off to center ice for Reeves. He'll jam one in behind the goal. Number 52 is Matt Irwin. And the free agent gets the puck to center ice. Shattenkirk now for Gunnarsson. That hits a seam in the glass, ends up back of the goal. And then Berglund comes in and gains possession. Irwin steps in front of Yashkin. And then Berglund again along with Stastny. They keep it in there.
They're winning board battles. That's the key to this line.
And now Yashkin off the wall. He'll drop it off to Stastny. Little fake pass move. And now another pass, but Gunnarsson was going the other way.
Yeah, but he got it back.
He got it back. And now Tennyson again up the boards. And again it's held in by Gunnarsson. And there's Yashkin. Tied up and notched by Irwin. And then Berglund comes over. He wins the puck away from Tennyson.
Another good win.
Now Berglund back to Gunnarsson. Fakes it, now lets it go off the goalpost. Oh, Gunnarsson hit the goalpost.
Yeah, fake the shot first, froze everybody. Smart play.
In the final minute of the second period. Irwin a pass. Off Shattenkirk, and now kept in by the New Rochelle, New York native.
And he just put it into an open area. That's a smart play.
And then back of the goal, Tennyson. He must be exhausted.
Gotta be.
And again, they can't clear it. Shattenkirk in front to Steen. Now Steen and his pass are shot blocked, and again the Sharks fail to clear it out. And Oshie with it for the Blues. Oshie to Steen. Wanders back to the goal. In front to Oshie, a drive. Off balance, and that goes high. Now Pietrangelo. Tight angle, a shot, and Stalock makes the arm save. Now back to Pietrangelo, one-timer, and that goes wide. Now Bouwmeester comes in. These Sharks have just got to be exhausted. 10 seconds left. In the second, Pietrangelo, and a drive blocked in front, and picked up by Goodrow, and finally cleared away, and that will do it. The end of 2. Nearly ready for the third period. The Blues with a 5-2 lead as they look to win their third game in a row as they kick off this 7-game homestand. And there is the captain, David Backes, out with Steen and Oshie to begin things in this third period. The Blues 13-1-2 and leading after 2. The Sharks are 4-11-2, win behind after 40. And Alex Stalock, who has taken over in goal for the Sharks. He left after the Oshie goal. Now it's Steen in front. Oh, and a wide open side. And Backes had a roll on him. And now back to Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson to Backes. Pass in front. Intended for Oshie. Broken up. And now Backes again is canceled there by Braun. Marleau trying to move it along. And again, a good forecheck by Backes and Oshie. It's in the skates of Backes. Now it pops right back to Gunnarsson. To Shattenkirk. Fakes it. And then he can't drag it around. The Shark player, Goodrow.
Give him the old little toe drag right there to see if Goodrow was going to overcommit.
And then the Blues quickly back in the zone. Here's Oshie, tough angle. And a pad save by Stalock. Rebound now to Pietrangelo. And stops on a dime in the corner.
Pretty good pressure when you've got it in that zone that long where the right D, Shattenkirk, can make a full change. And Pietrangelo gets on the ice and still keeps it in the zone.
And now the pocket center. Oh, great move by Tarasenko. In on goal, a shot. And that's off a leg and wide. And then Pietrangelo down from the right point. And Pavelski breaks it up. Couture to center. And the Blues recover. And now Jaden Schwartz at his own line for Bouwmeester. And that was intended for Laterra off a Shark player. And now Vlasic back to get it. On for his partner, Brent Burns. And this does slide to center ice.
Now good pressure though on the puck. Cutting the ice in half there by Laterra on the far side. And the Blues, of all the teams in the league, they may be the best at the forwards checking back the puck. Putting pressure in the neutral zone inside the lines. And that allows the D to hold lines and stay much more confident in that area.
And now it is Burns back of the goal. Spins away from Yashkin. Yashkin, Berglund, and Stastny. This line has been terrific again tonight. That's knocked out of midair by the stick of Stalock. And then played around, and the Sharks fire it the other way. And that will be an icing call against San Jose.
Well, John Kelly, we have a Oshie O's right here. And Oshie's right beside me. He's not going to eat them right now. But they've done a great job with these Oshie O's. And in fact, TJ is donating a portion of his proceeds to the March of Dimes in the St. Louis division. So you got to get yourself some Honey Nut Toasted Oats, sweetened oat cereal with honey and almonds. A limited edition collector's box. Oshie O's. They're going to call them Oshie's O's. And actually, Osh told me today, he said, I didn't like the way that sounded. So he changed it to Oshie O's.
I think it sounds a lot better.
Rolls off your tongue a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's a marketer's dream, that kid.
You think I've been eating between periods? The whole box is gone.
Now a shot by Shattenkirk, rebound in front to Reeves. And he can't pull the trigger back on goal. And now comes around to Shattenkirk. And he drifts to the corner. Shattenkirk trying to find Ott in the slot. And that's off a stick, and now Shepard for San Jose to center ice. But right back in the zone is Reeves. And then Vlasic steers it around the boards. Nieto there, under some heat there from Gunnarsson. And finally taken by John Scott, and his pass to center ice. And the Blues on it again.
Real good reads by the Blues D inside the zone, too. Not giving the Sharks any opportunity to get out of their zone. They're keeping the heat on.
And now it's Oshie. His pass hit Tennyson. And it goes down low for Desjardins. His pass up the middle. It does come to center ice. Pushed back in. Delayed offside. And now the Blues clear the zone. And they tag up. Here's Irwin. Off the glass to center ice. Boy, the Blues positioning right now is just superb. Their pressure in all three zones. Backus up the middle. And he can't get a shot. Jackman to hold it in. And then Backus will twirl and fire it back on the goal. Stalock leaves it for Tennyson. And the puck is lifted high and all the way down, but no icing here. Marleau in after it against Butler. And Butler wins that battle. Puck stays in the zone. Now Backus goes back on the goal for Jackman. And the most senior blue trying to clear it away. That's kept in by Wingles.
Backus still on the ice. That's a heck of a long shift.
And a shot to the line goes wide after Tarasenko was drilled in the corner. Now Dillon for Nieto. Back to Braun, a shot. Got through and a save by Elliott. The rebound was loose. Wingles on the doorstep, couldn't knock it in. As Elliott stopped that, it looked like with his right arm or the right side of his body.
Absolutely, because he's adjusting his equipment on the right side of his body right after that save. He had to battle through that one.
Nearly 5 minutes gone here in the third period.
That all results too, and Backus can't get the change. Both wingers got the change, but Backus was the only one that got stuck out there.
And now the Sharks on the forecheck. Carlson to the corner. Good read there by Shattenkirk to step up, and now walked along by Berglund. Shattenkirk into Berglund at a mid-air shot, and that goes high. And the puck to the corner. And the Blues swarm in the corner. Classic there with it. 3 Blues down low, they get it, and here is Berglund. To the slot. Now Stastny to Berglund. And a good stick there by the Sharks. Burns to break it up. And it comes to center ice. Loose puck picked up by Couture. And his shot, stick save Elliott. And then Carlson after the rebound. He is pushed to the boards by Pietrangelo. And now it comes around to Gunnarsson. And he is under some pressure there from Goodrow. And then Gunnarsson again. That lob pass up the middle is picked off by Hurdle. Hurdle in front now, a shot. Pad save by Elliott. Pressure by the Sharks. And now Irwin's drive blocked by Berglund.
Yeah, good angle there for Berglund. Really good angle blocking that shot. Comes off a 2-helper game at Arizona. Played a strong game there. Didn't quite get the work boots. Backus got that on behalf of his 4 goals.
And that's an icing call against San Jose.
But Berglund's been strong. For a big Swede, been really strong. Here he is. Good on the turn right here, and then blows by Joe Pavelski, and then he gets the return feed from Stastny. So confident on his skates, good balance. The Olympian does well there.
Darren, I mentioned the Blues forecheck. They have now forced the Sharks to turn it over 15 times in their own end tonight.
15 times. Wow.
A relentless forecheck. It's led to 5 goals and a 3-goal lead here in the third period.
Time now for a Bommarito Automotive Sports Update. Wild lost 8-10 tonight hosting to the Blackhawks. Chicago, a pair of first-period goals. Patrick Sharp with his 9th. Patrick Kane, number 20 on this season. Wild head coach Mike Yeo demanding a better effort from his club. They cut it to 2-1, but now trail 3-1 in the third period. John and Darren, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Pat Paris.
And there's linesman Tim Nowak, and he wanted us to say a very good fortune to his father that just got out of the hospital last night. Big hockey fan. He thought that he'd be watching, so out of the hospital. So good stuff, Tim, and his dad, Bob.
And Darren's speed in Minnesota. We certainly offer our condolences to the Parise family. Zach Parise's dad, JP, passing away earlier today from cancer, and a very tough time for the Parise family. JP Parise was a very good hockey player for the Minnesota North Stars.
Sure was. Played on the 72 Summit Series for Canada. He's been a long-standing member of minor hockey, working at Shattuck St. Mary's. He's the director of hockey for so many years. Winning is easy with JP Parise.
And Chris Porter, best friends with Zach Parise, so very tough time for the hockey world with the loss of JP. Now McGinn down low. And there's Bouwmeester in deep. Sharks play one to center ice, and backpedaling Pietrangelo. Off the bench now it's Steen. He races in for Oshie. Oshie trying to center one. And that was blocked by the stick of Braun. And now moved to center ice off Wingles. And then Wingels chopped down at the Blues line. And that's dumped in on goal. Elliott quickly up the right wing side now for Pietrangelo. On to center ice for Oshie. Oshie for Steen. And then Braun back for the Sharks. He winds it around. This goes all the way down. And they are going to rule an icing call. Well, the Blues, Fox Sports Midwest, and the American Red Cross are joining forces to help save lives at the annual St. Louis Blues Blood Drive on February 2nd at 8 locations in Missouri and Illinois. Everyone who attempts to donate will receive a specially designed Blues Blood Drive t-shirt while supplies last. And for more information and appointments, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Every drop helps.
That is for sure. And in the hockey world, we know that better than most.
Yep.
And now the Blues, Laterra for Schwartz. He'll drop it up to Tarasenko. Nice pass to Schwartz, trying to get it back in front. And now the Blues making a change. Laterra appears to be in some distress as he goes to the bench. And the Blues back in the zone again.
Yeah, he
Schwartz
came to the bench, hunched over, John, and all you could hear him say was, whoa, 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 whoa. Going back there, and he's being attended to now. Looked like a shoulder by Patrick Marleau. And it stung him. He's got a grin on his face. I think he shook off the cobwebs. I think he's okay.
And now Schwartz goes back of the goal. It looks like a glove on the ice there. And the puck on the wing, and then chipped out by Berglund. Stastny on the forecheck. Irwin fights him off. And this will result in a icing call again by the visiting Sharks.
Well, real fancy passing there by Schwartz and Laterra. There was no more dynamic two players last year, according to analytics on the ice, than Tarasenko and Schwartz. And now they add Laterra, and there he is right there. Real likable guy from Finland. And, you know, no one knew his personality, although he'd been here one time for a short period of time in 2008. But he looks like he's okay. Took a pretty good hit.
Now it is Berglund around the goal. Wraparound. He scores! Patrick Berglund!
Well, there's one for Berglund. The pregame warm-up, I talked about the 6 hat tricks from Blues players, and he said, I'm next. Here's one from Stastny, another good face-off win. And you can see that Berglund fakes the backhand to forehand, goes around the net, and with that long reach and that big curve on his twig on the forehand, a strong move there. The young goaltender Alex Stalock can't get over there with everything sealed to the ice, and it goes actually underneath him, not on the near side. It actually crawls in on the far side between the legs of Stalock.
His first goal in 8 games, 5th of the year, and it comes at 9:05.
It's a clean face-off win, though, by Stastny, who's been brilliant on the dots all season long.
And Paul Stastny gets the primary assist on the goal. And the Blues extend their lead to 6-2. So Stastny with a goal and 1 assist. Now it is Backes. And for the 3rd straight game, the Blues have scored at least 6. This gets by Jackman, but Shattenkirk there to dart across. And now Kevin Shattenkirk to center ice. Sharks back in. Here comes Lapierre. And he can't pull the trigger. Now Lapierre with it. And he goes for a skate. Takes a scenic route out high here. Now a wrist shot, and that goes wide.
Dylan is hacking and whacking there on Ryan Reeves in front of the net. And then Reeves follows through on a good hit against Scott.
And then Desjardins fires it off the leg of Gunnarsson. And that goes out of play. 9:43 left in the 3rd period. Berglund's 5th has made it 6-2 for the home team.
And welcome into Scott Trade Center alongside John Kelly, Darren Pang. Updating our open that we talked about, the red hot line. Coming into this game, 31 points. 19 for the Stastny line and 10 in the last 7 games. As you take a look at it, 36 for Backes' line leading the charge. But as the coaching staff, led by Todd McClellan, said today, boy, that Jaden Schwartz He is greatly missed when he's out, and it obviously shows that the top 9 is absolutely incredible in the way that they're moving the puck. Nothing's predictable with the way that they're playing.
And Todd McClellan, by the way, coaching in his 500th NHL game.
Yeah, and he's got an unbelievable winning percentage, third best amongst coaches of 500 games or more. 649 win percentage, 649 win percentage. Remarkable.
And he's coaching with a bad shoulder tonight. Now Yashkin with it.
He is. He's got a right shoulder problem.
He really does. Now the Blues. That's an upper body, Darren, for the record.
It definitely is upper body.
That's Berglund on the wing.
You know, he's a tough guy from Saskatchewan, though. He can coach with a separated shoulder.
Former roommates of Kelly Chasen Jr. And now the Blues with it. Played back to Pietrangelo. And now broken up, and Pietrangelo, nice spinorama move at center ice. And a pass across for Yashkin. And then to Shattenkirk. Glove down. Shattenkirk almost lost that one as it came back to him, but he pumps it down the ice, and now Brent Burns with it for San Jose. Here's Vlasic for Burns. And then tipped along by Carlson. Stared back of the goal by Pietrangelo. Now kept in. Burns, a hard shot and a save by Elliott.
Yeah, that was labeled with traffic in front, too. That's a heck of a save.
And then Tarasenko. He moves it into the middle, intended for Schwartz, picked off. Here's Backes, fires it, and he whipped that one high.
He's got that wrister going, doesn't he?
Yeah, he tried to go high, glove side there. Now Backes, high glove there, and it's another goal for the Blues. It is 7-2.
He's got that snapper. Doesn't take long. You never or rarely see him take a big slap shot. And the first time around, he's got a real good chance. He picks off the pass and just misses high to the glove side. But then he stays as a third man high. Great play by Pietrangelo down low. Eventually, Schwartz finds Backes, and this one's labeled. His stick doesn't get a foot and a half off the ice right here. Bang! Just a perfect shot over the glove and in.
If at first you don't succeed, go high glove again. His 14th of the year. This goal at 11:59. And the Blues, 7 goals.
Incredible what it does to your 5-on-5 scoring. The numbers, goals for, goals against. This has been a phenomenal run, but it starts with good team defense. They've tightened everything up defensively, and that leads to some great offensive chances.
Backes from Schwartz and Pietrangelo at 11:59. So for the second game in a row against San Jose, the Blues put a crooked number on the board, 7 goals. And now Shepard with it for San Jose. 7:25 to go in the third period. And now it is Alexander Steen for the Blues. Tipped in by Butler.
And speaking of Butler, he has played awfully well, hasn't he? Awfully well. Meanwhile, in that last line change, words exchanged there between the Blues and the Sharks. You can anticipate some frustration there on the Sharks' behalf. Getting pounded here 7-2, like the last game in San Jose.
Now the Blues, a long stretch pass intended for Reeves. He goes in against Braun. And then Steve Ott in there against Brendan Dillon.
That could be a minor penalty on Scott.
As Lapierre was perhaps interfered with.
It's going to be an interference call. John Scott doesn't like the way Lapierre went down, it looks like. But if you're here in about the 10th row, keep your eye on Backes. Here he is, high position, good position right there, pulls back. You don't want to go into the traffic area, so he wisely backs up. And I think when you talk about the change, and there is our RF camera right there, it wanders around. That's Big Phil Boyd, and he does an excellent job getting a shot of the bench right there. We're bringing it to you live right here on Fox Sports Midwest. That's bringing it to the people.
The Blues 2 for 3 tonight. It marks the 12th time this year they've scored at least 2 power play goals in a game. All a year ago, they did it 11 times. So the power play is just humming along, and they go to work again here with Scott gone for interference. Here comes Stastny, or rather Steen up the middle. And then Shattenkirk winds it around the boards. Schwartz lets it go for Laterra. And a good stick there by Burns. And then Tarasenko is stripped by Marleau. And Marleau comes in. And a drive is up high. The Sharks do have a shorthanded goal tonight. And it goes down to the corner. And now recovered by Steen. With under 6 to play in the third period. The Blues leading 7-2. Here's Steen at the line. Moved along by Pietrangelo. And then drawn back of the goal and is wiped out by Dmitry Yashkin. Berglund back to the line. Bouwmeester for Pietrangelo. Barely kept it in the slot to Stastny. And on goal, a shot. And a save there by Stalock.
Good save, no rebound there. Is just the clock winding down right now. And not much drama left to unfold here, but a nice little give and go. And Stastny brings it from the backhand to the forehand. Now trying to go high on the glove of Alex Stalock. Coughed up the puck in the last game. He was working with goalie coach Wayne Thomas about puck handling. He's a very active and creative goaltender in that net. And his hero, as I told you in the last game, is Martin Brodeur. And he got an autographed stick from Marty Brodeur in the last game in San Jose to add to his collection. Hey, big thrill. You know, you never know if you're going to see a guy again, and lo and behold, Brodeur ends up with the St. Louis Blues as he remains now, and Stalock ends up getting a nice stick.
Even NHL players have idols in this league. Were you a stick collector as a player, Darren?
I once had an autographed Ken Dryden stick hanging over my bed. Wanted it at a goalie school, Sherwood PMP. A legitimate Ken Dryden autograph stick. You know what I did? I cut it down and used it for road hockey years later. What was I thinking?
What would that stick be worth today?
Is that the dumbest thing in the world? Meantime, we got a power play update for you here. Half boards. You're going to see Steve Ott on the half boards. Net front presence is going to be Reeves. Nice to see Gunnarsson get some power play time. Lapierre might be the playmaker.
And the Blues control the face-off. Shattenkirk for Lapierre, and his pass across hits the stick and comes to center ice.
And that's the way it should be. It's a 7-2 hockey game. No need rubbing that in. And give these guys an opportunity.
And here is Lapierre. Stops on a dime. Now back to the line. Here's Gunnarsson in the slot. Ott for Gunnarsson to Shattenkirk. A shot. And that hit a man in front, maybe Lapierre.
Oh, this may knock the top 2 power play units off the ice the next game.
They're moving the puck around quite well here. Drop past Shattenkirk. Now for Ott. A shot. And a save there by Stalock. And Braun with it. And he goes down the far boards.
Good play. Good containment in the offensive zone. Big grin coming off the ice from Steve Ott. Good shot there by Lapierre. Thought he had him on the short side. Good save by Stalock.
And the Sharks back at full strength. So the Blues 2 for 4 tonight. Had 2 shots on that last power play. Jackman around the boards for Steen. And he skates away from the corner. Sharks get it back, and a shot is up high by McGinn. And now Vlasic a drive off the right leg of Jackman.
That's why too, John, you got to pay attention in practice. You know, those are the guys that end up being on the penalty kill for all the practice drills. But pay attention, because when you get the call, you never know what can happen in the course of a game.
And then Steen is roughed up in the corner by Burns. Blues get it back to Butler. And then David Backes doesn't get much on that shot. And John Scott saunters to center ice. And his pass across.
Where did that hit?
It looked like went in the door and came out. The Blues open door, but play continues.
I was looking at it to go down the line, down the boards, and it just pops up there.
And now Jackman on the wing. In the deep slot. Picked up by Couture. And a shot.
How about Oshie?
On it.
Yeah, but how about Oshie going and sliding like that, trying to block it?
And now it comes around to number 74. Oshie trying to work it out. And he does. No icing here. With 3 minutes left in the third period. What a way to kick off this 7-game homestand with 7 goals tonight. And a big lead late. Tarasenko comes in, a shot off the goal post. Stalock didn't move.
That's sick.
Was that a blast? And now tennis and over for San Jose.
You know, I know the goals haven't been coming for Tarasenko, but you know what? The one thing that has is the drive to get back in his own zone. Really doing a much better, much more significant job in that area.
Well, Goodrow whiffs on a wide open net to the left of Brian Elliott. And now Tarasenko back in his own zone.
You would think that Tarasenko and Shattenkirk will be in Columbus there for the All-Star game. Two players that have had great seasons. Well, our Nissan.com checks of the game. Ryan Reeves really started this game out in terrific fashion, setting the tone that way. Lots of hits, as you would expect. That one there, back actually trying to go over Goodrow, and Wingles is one of the leaders in the hits department amongst forwards in the NHL, and he gets the better there of Tarasenko, which is hard to do. A complete game here against the San Jose Sharks, led by Steen, who made it 1-0. Bouwmeester and Stastny in the first period, making it 3-1.
Stay with us. Missouri Lottery Blues Live is next. Pat and Bernie in the Fox box, and Darren downstairs with all the interviews as Berglund gets it for the Blues. To Gunnarsson, and a bouncing shot well wide. Now Yashkin turns and can't get it through the Shark player. Then he is worked over on the near side by Braun. Yashkin just skates away. And now the puck down the boards again. Yashkin to the line for Gunnarsson. And then Shattenkirk. The Blues playing their 41st game of the season, so they hit the halfway point tonight.
Yeah, another good hit there by Yashkin in the corner.
And now Berglund scored in a wraparound earlier, and now his pass back to the line to Gunnarsson. And that shot goes wide.
It's in the net.
Stalock has it under his body. That is close. And now he gets some pushing back of the goal. They might review that last play. It was under his back there and outside the goal, but it was certainly close to the goal line.
Regardless, Ken Hitchcock likes to use the term with the Steen back as an ocean line, just explaining, well, they play the game the correct way, and you could say the same thing right now about this line here with Berglund, Stastny, and Yashkin. They are playing the right way, and there's Yashkin releases from the front of the net after Berglund had done some dogged work there, and the actual puck goes off the board. Yashkin never touches this puck at all. What an awkward position for Stalock. Watch his right knee as he goes down there. Ooh, man, that's got to hurt. And from here, I thought that puck was in, but obviously inconclusive from that angle.
Looked like it was right on the goal line. Blues win the faceoff, back for Jackman. And now Desjardins with it. And then ahead for McGinn. And John Scott from center ice. Butler back in his own zone now for Reeves. And then Butler goes the other way for Jackman. And the Blues in the final minute here to center ice. And it's lobbed in by Ott. The Hurricanes in town Saturday. We're on the air at 6:30 with the pregame show. Now we have a hit. Reeves involved with McGinn.
Now look at Ott goes in there and separates John Scott. Ott just wants to make sure that this isn't going to be a fight as Scott pokes away at every Blues player that went towards him.
And Scott, who goes 6'8", 260, trying to find somebody to drop the mitts with. And Ryan Reeves now pokes him around the linesman.
Now Reeves doesn't like the fact that John Scott has poked away at a bunch of guys with that long reach that he has, and this game is over with 44 seconds remaining. And here's the hit there. Reeves isn't actually trying to hit him, but he does trip him up. His skate goes in there and trips up him again. There's no question about that, so it's a tripping call. So the battle's really between McGinn and Ryan Reeves.
And Reeves heads off. Coming up tonight on Fox Sports Live, Aaron Rodgers says he's a go for Sunday despite his ailing calf. Jay Glazer joined us to explain how he'll fare against the Cowboys. It's the Stanley Cup Finals rematch as the Rangers come to Staples to take on the Kings, and will go one-on-one with Urban Meyer days before he coaches his third championship game. That's tonight on Fox Sports Live.
Well, Jackman gets the word there from the officials, and it's 4 on the ice for the Blues, 5 on the ice for the Sharks.
That would be a power play for San Jose.
Now I was just looking at the fingers of the referee. You're right.
And that will be their second of the night.
Well, the one guy that's come to play for Todd McLellan, I think during the course of this game, has been not Patrick Marleau, but it's been Logan Couture. I think Logan Couture's played a strong game. Pavelski, Carlson, Wingles, Goudreau, but they've had a lot of guys that have not chipped in this hockey game.
Yeah, you expected, at least I did, Darren.
Yeah, me too.
A bounce-back effort that has not been here tonight from San Jose.
Especially after, losing 7-2 to the Blues, then coming back and playing 2 gritty games and winning against Winnipeg and Minnesota, and getting ready for this game with a day off yesterday. They did not skate yesterday. I fully expected a full charge and a comeback game by San Jose based on the loss that the Blues handed to them last game, if nothing else.
And now it is Gunnarsson back on the goal along with Jackman. Jackman trying to tip the puck out of midair and comes around to Lapierre, and Lapierre wins the battle and shoots it down the ice. Under 20 seconds to go here. Blues about to win their 3rd in a row and 25th of the year. Pavelski drops it, and Burns was going the other way. And they're on their feet, 19,220. A sellout at Scott Trade. And Elliott makes the save, clears it away, and the Blues win it 7-2.
Just an all-round terrific performance by the Blues. And we'll talk about the 7 goals that they've scored again in this game, but it's been all about team defense. It's all been about 5-man units in every zone, and that has led to great transition. This game once went to 3-2, John, when Carlson scored, but the Blues bounced back with 2 after that to make it 5-2 after 40.
And then they poured it on. Oshie, Berglund, and Backes, the last 3 goals, and they win it 7-2.
And time now for a Bud Light player of the game, and there could be a plethora of Bud Light players of the game. I'm going to go with Paul Stastny. Basically scored the goal to make it 3-1. His line set the tone early on with some solid play, and then he had an assist too on Berglund's goal. I like that line's all-around game.